Hi, my name is Jocelyn Neal, and this is the 6th session in our Melodic Dictation workshop series. I'm glad you're here. If you haven't done sessions 1 through 5, I recommend you jump over and do those, and then come back to this one. Today, our focus will be on a minor key. We're going to be working on the scale degree ladder concept. We're going to be working on speed and efficiency, and on sustaining our attention through a long melodic dictation. So let's get started. Let's solfege a scale in melodic minor, double do on top. Here's our key. There's tonic. Here we go. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, do, ti, le, so, fa, mi, re, do. Intervals. Major, second, minor, third, perfect, fourth, perfect, fifth, major, sixth, major, seventh, perfect, octave, major, second, major, third, perfect, fourth, perfect, fifth, major, sixth, minor, seventh, perfect, octave, major, second, major, third, perfect, fourth, perfect, fifth, major, second, major, third, perfect, fourth. Now let's sing our thirds. Here we go. 3, 4. Do, mi, re, fa, mi, so, fa, le, so, te, la, do, ti, re, do. Do, le, te, so, le, fa, so, mi, fa, re, mi, do, re, ti, do. Now let's change keys and do our minor arpeggiation pattern. Here's our new key. There's tonic. 3, 4. Do, mi, do, sol, le, fa, re, ti, do, te, le, do, fa, do, le, do, re, do, ti, re, ti, sol, la, ti, do. And we will stay in that key, and let's tonicize. Here's tonic. 3, 4. Do, mi, so, fa, mi, le, so, ti, do, re, do, ti, do, so, mi, do. Now let's do some opening and closing melodic patterns. I am going to sing a 3-note opening pattern and a 3-note closing pattern on a neutral syllable. I would like you to solfege that back, and then we will sing it together to confirm. Here's tonic. Let's begin. Do, 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 do. Do, mi, re, so, ti, do, 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 do. Do, mi, fa, re, so, do, 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 do. Do, re, ti, re, mi, do, 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 do. Do, re, mi, fa, ti, do, 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 do. Do, mi, so, re, ti, do. Since our focus today is on patterns and speed, let's go ahead and run some rhythmic exercises as well. You see in front of you common rhythmic patterns in simple quadruple meter, and we're going to read this whole exercise. You can use a neutral syllable or rhythmic syllables, whichever you prefer. Let's begin. Ta, 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 dee, 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 ta, me, ta, dee, ta, me, ta, dee, ta, dee, me, ta, dee, ta, dee, me, ta, dee, ta, dee, me, ta, dee, me, ta, dee, ta, dee, ta, dee, ta, dee, taka, dee, me, ta, dee, ta, me, ta, dee, me, ta. Now you'll notice that most of these measures used the same rhythmic pattern for the first two beats and the last two beats, and we would like to make sure we have as much flexibility in our thinking as possible. So I would like us to read these rhythmic patterns again. But this time, you're only going to read the first half of each bar. You're going to read measure 1, beats 1 and 2, and then immediately jump to measure 2, beats 1 and 2. So again, you're only reading half of each bar. Here we go. Ta, 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 dee, ta, dee, ta, dee, ta, dee, ta, dee, ta, me, ta, dee, me, ta, dee, me, ta, dee, ta, taka, dee, me, ta, dee, me, ta, dee, me. Something you can do on your own is switch up the patterns or try different combinations of measures or parts of measures so that you have as much flexibility as possible in your thinking and so you can recognize these patterns as quickly as possible. Let's talk about our scale degree ladder for a moment. This is a concept where in your head you are constantly holding the scale degrees of whatever key you're in, and you can think of them as an ascending scale or a descending scale, but we want the flexibility to jump around at any moment to any scale degree and know where we are in relation to our key. So we want to always have a sense of where tonic is. We always want to have a sense of where tonic and the dominant pitch are. So you have so and do in your head at all times. Within that framework, we want to have a good sense of where that tonic triad is, do, me, so. We want to keep in mind that as we are ascending in melodic minor, the raised scale degree 7, which is syllable T, wants to resolve up to do. And the lowered scale degree 6, which is the syllable lay, wants to resolve down to so. So our goal with our ear training is to have this scale degree ladder present in our heads at any time and to be able to move comfortably and fluently around the scale degrees, knowing where we are in relationship to tonic, the dominant, the tonic triad, and the pitches that have tendencies to resolve. Let's do one more warm-up exercise today. These are one measure transcriptions. So please get some staff paper, grab that pencil, and set yourself up in the key of D minor. We have one flat. We're in 4/4. We're going to be working in treble clef. And I'm going to play for you 10 short one measure melodic patterns. Each of them begins on tonic. They don't necessarily end on tonic. So you can think of this like an opening measure or a measure in the middle of a longer melodic dictation. Your goal is to listen to these one measure melodies and write them down in real time using shorthand notation or get them on the staff as quickly as possible and then continue to sustain your focus and your attention so you're ready for the next one. Here's our key. Here's our tempo. Here's tonic again. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5. Number 6. Number 7. Number 8. Number 9. Number 10. Now take a look at the answers. And let's do our melodic dictation exercise for today. Please grab some staff paper and a pencil and we'll get that set up. For this melody, let's work in treble clef. We'll have a key signature of 1 flat, a time signature of 4/4. We will have 4 bars of music. Our first pitch will be the note D4. You'll have a note head on your staff, but you do not yet have a stem on that. You'll have to get that information from your first hearing. Anytime that you're working on melodic dictation, I recommend that you look at that first note, look at that key signature, and write the key underneath your staff so that you have a visual reminder as you are working. And anytime that we are in a minor key, I also want you to write watch 6 and 7 on your paper as a reminder that you're going to have to check every scale degree 6 and every scale degree 7 to see if they are altered, raised in ascending contexts and lowered in descending contexts. Now, let's add our best guess of a last note for this melody. I'm going to look in measure 4, halfway through the measure. I'm in 4/4, so that's going to be a half note placed on the pitch D4 in the middle of bar 4. I don't know if that's the right note yet. It could be an octave higher, but that's my best guess, and I want that as a visual target while I'm working. Now I'm ready for my first hearing. On that first hearing, I always want to get my opening 3 notes and my closing 3 notes. At the beginning of this melody, I heard do, mi, fa. So I have a quarter note on my tonic pitch, and then I'm going to skip up to scale degree 3 and walk up to scale degree 4 in 8th notes. At the end of my melody, I heard this, mi, re, do. It was a descent 3-2-1. Scale degree 3 was an 8th note. Scale degree 2 was a quarter note. So again, that opening pattern was do, mi, fa. And my closing pattern was mi, re, do. And now I'm ready for my second hearing. Let's put on our opening segment, closing segment, and some of our anchor pitches on this second hearing. So I heard an ascending scale at the beginning. Do, mi, fa, sol. So I'm going to go ahead and write that in. Those were scale degrees 1, 3, 4, 5. My ending for this melody came from an anchor pitch of scale degree 5, and then I had my mi, re, do ending that we talked about after the first hearing. And that descent at the end was from 5 down to 3, 2, closing on 1. Let's add one more anchor pitch to help us out. In measure 2, in the middle, the high note that we ascend to is scale degree 1. So I can add that as an anchor pitch. And on the downbeat of measure 3, I am also on an anchor pitch. That's scale degree 5. With that framework in place, let's do our third hearing. Make sure that you check all your scale degrees 6 and 7 to see if they need to be raised or lowered with an accidental. Third hearing. On that third hearing, we want to focus on scalar fragments and arpeggios. At the end of measure 1, we hear a leap down. Do, mi, fa, sol, re, mi. And so we have a descent from scale degree 5 down to scale degree 2, and that then steps up to scale degree 3. Scale degree 3 is a longer note. We might have heard that in our shorthand notation. It's going to be a dotted quarter note, and then we hear a tonic arpeggiation, scale degree 3 up to 5, up to a high tonic. Listen to that opening bar and a half. The jump from scale degree 5 down to 2 is tricky. That's an interval that I recommend you practice. And then we absolutely want to hear the tonic arpeggiation in the beginning of measure 2. At the end of measure 2, we have a scalar descent. From scale degree 1, we come down through a lowered scale degree 7 and a lowered scale degree 6 down to 5. This should sound familiar. It's simply a descending scale from scale degree 1 in melodic minor. From scale degree 5, we are then going to ascend in melodic minor, which means that we need to raise scale degree 6 and scale degree 7, going up to a high tonic. From that high tonic, we then jump down to scale degree 5, and we hear upper neighbor motion using a lowered scale degree 6. Going down, we have lowered scale degree 7 and 6. Going up the scale, we have raised scale degree 6, raised scale degree 7, and then we have lower neighbor motion with that lowered scale degree 6 at the end of measure 3. A descending scale, an ascending scale, and then we have neighbor motion of 5, 6, 5. Listen to the entire pattern one more time. Notice that we have several leaps of a perfect fourth. In measure 1, the leap from scale degree 5 down to scale degree 2 is a perfect fourth, but that's a tricky one for our ears to hear because we are so used to jumping between 5 and 1. Make sure you practice that. We then have a perfect fourth leap in measure 2 from scale degree 5 up to 1, and then we reverse that in measure 3 and we hear scale degree 1 down to scale degree 5. Now let's look at the final melody and we'll sing it together. Here's tonic. 3, 4. Do, me, fa, sol, re, mi, so, do, ti, le, sol, la, ti, do, sol, le, so, me, re, do. Thanks for watching.